I've got a bucket full of tomatoes. Time to make some spaghetti sauce. The recipe I'm using calls for a half a bushel of tomatoes. I'm not sure anybody knows what a half a bushel of tomatoes looks like. I've got a bucket of tomatoes, and this recipe's worked for me the last couple of years. The onions are the dirtiest element of this dish, so I'm going to clean those up outside here, give them a preliminary clean, and then we'll take them into the house. 2 pounds? Maybe a little heavy. That's better. Next part of this process is just to cut out any bad spots. If there aren't any bad spots, I do like to cut them in half, only because it lets them cook a little bit faster. As you could see, I was not discriminatory. I have some egg yolk in there, I've got some jelly bean, I've got some Christmas. All of the varieties I ordered from Totally Tomatoes. These black plum are a little bit small. I was a little disappointed in the size of those, but there's a lot of them, and they will continue to grow throughout the season. So I've got that other pot started. I have another stainless steel Dutch oven here. It's important to use stainless steel, not aluminum. It will react to the tomatoes' acid. So you need to use stainless steel. So I've got both pots cooking very low. I've brought this operation back outside because this is another messy operation. Old school right here. My good friend Marge Helms, the one that told me about this food mill, she also suggests running what's already run through the mill through it again, so you can squeeze out every little bit of the juices and the flavors that this boiling has created. I scraped off all the goodness that I can off of that. We'll start off with this pot full of tomatoes and that pot full of tomatoes with a few onions for about 3 hours. And I'm left with this. That's going to become my tomato sauce. Okay, I've got my pot back going. It's on level 3 on our stove, which is somewhere between low and medium. It's starting to steam a little bit. I'm going to add 2 cups of canola oil. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of garlic salt, 2 teaspoons of oregano leaves, 2 teaspoons of parsley, 2 teaspoons of basil. I thought I was going to have to wait for Karen to come home because I couldn't find the bay leaves. It calls for 6. Now, it calls for a cup and a half of sugar and a half a cup of salt. I'm going to let this simmer for quite a while and give it a taste. I normally will not put that much sugar in there, and I doubt if I'll need that much salt. So I'm going to let this simmer. I'm leaving the lid off this time because I want it to reduce. It's been on this low boil for about 45 minutes. I added a teaspoon of salt so far. Now I'm adding 4 cans of tomato paste. This is pure tomato paste, no sugar added. You can only find that out if you look at the label real well. I want to thicken this up quite a bit. I'm into day 2. Right now this just has water in it. When I left off yesterday, this was about 3/4 full, and I have reduced it down to the Dutch oven. I'm ready to begin the process of canning. This has been simmering at a low boil for about 8 hours. Once it reduced, it got a little bit acid taste to it, so I've added 2 tablespoons and a teaspoon of brown sugar, and that brought it back to where it was. The recipe calls for 1.5 cups of sugar. That's just way too much for me. It does have some salt now in it, maybe 2 tablespoons. It called for 1/2 cup, but I think it's a good batch. Each year this batch turns out a little bit differently as possible. So these were run through the dishwasher yesterday in the sanitizer mode, and now, so my jars are prepared. Malformed ladle. I think it got malformed last time when I left it in the sanitizing boiling water a little too long, but that really works to the advantage here. Bring that right up to the bottom of the funnel. That leaves a little bit of headspace. I'm putting these in half pints because we have a pizza or a calzone every Friday night, or at least 50 nights out of the year. And one of these will make a couple of pizzas. I'm going to make sure the rims here are very clean. So I have the canner out here, ready to process these. I'm going to leave him. I'll be leaving them in the hot bath once it comes back up to a boil for 10 minutes. I have 2 dozen so far, and not quite used up half of the sauce. But this canner has a separate pan in here, and as long as the water is 1 inch above jars, which is plenty, I have a few more that didn't fit on this tray. Well, as you can see, this is really boiling, and as you can hear the air conditioner in the background running, it is a hot day. These will start to pop. I've got the towel on here just so they won't slide off the top of the grill. I don't know if you'll be able to hear the pop or not. There's some popping. And the thing with these ball lids is that you can go by afterwards and press in the middle, and if you can press down, you know they're not sealed. That's the way I do it. Be careful and be safe. Thanks for watching.